It's the beginning of another week. Hello, good evening, welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live from Yusuf at Adesawe Kanda, also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Okanse. Tonight, the National Democratic Congress parliamentary candidate for the Tema Central constituency in the 2024 election, Ebi Bright, heads to court seeking to reverse the election of Charles Forson as Member of Parliament. We have more in this latest from the camp of Ebi Bright and this election petition. Stay with us. Also, the Electoral Commission Chair, Jean Adokwe-Mensah, had 2 deputies, and a member of the commission risk being removed from office following a petition to the President, John Dramani Mahama. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight as we get some legal explanation on the path that this petition will take. Also, as Ghana gears for a national economic dialogue, there are 2 questions as to whether Ghana will likely stand in global economies and geopolitics, as there seem to be some considerations for Ghana to join BRICS. Already, our big brother Nigeria have just announced their decision to join BRICS. But what does all of this mean for Ghana? Stay with us. As always, you're an integral part of the conversation. Let's hear from you. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and on X. Let's get talking. Let's settle for Ghana Briefs.
President John Dramani Mahama has been petitioned to remove EC Chairperson Jean Mensah from office for alleged misbehavior and incompetence. The petition is also asking for the removal of her 2 deputies and a member of the commission. The grounds for this petition include a breach of fundamental human rights under Article 42 of the 1992 Constitution. The NDC parliamentary candidate for Tema Central, Ebi Bright, has petitioned the Supreme Court to declare her the validly elected Member of Parliament for the area, citing irregularities leading to the declaration of NPP's Charles Forson as a winner of the polls. According to the NDC parliamentary candidate for Tema Central, the Electoral Commission, EC, wrongfully declared Charles Forson as the winner, despite alleged discrepancies in the election results. She's now contesting the EC's final tally and is calling for the court to annul the declaration or order a re-election in the constituency. Minister-designate for Lands and Natural Resources Emmanuel Amakofibua maintains government is determined to end illegal mining. He argues the approach will be non-partisan and inclusive with new measures to deal with the age-long challenge. He has also been speaking about other issues relating to land acquisition and claims that politically connected persons are acquiring such assets at very cheap prices.
Our country is bleeding. Our forest, that is really at the heart and soul of our survival, has been completely devastated, damaged. And don't take my words for it. This is what the NDC intends to do. We are bringing 3 great initiatives. The Blue Water Initiative, which seeks to heal and harness the environment by turning areas degraded by illegal mining into hubs of economic and ecological recovery.
President John Mahama has urged African countries to be more efficient in delivering development through good governance and accountability. He made this call during a high-level meeting with leaders on the continent in Nairobi, Kenya.
Efficiency must be the guiding principle in how we conduct our affairs, ensuring that our policies and programs translate into real change for our people. We must adopt mechanisms that prioritize accountability, transparency, and value for money, ensuring that every resource is maximized for the benefit of the African people.
The National Economic Dialogue Planning Committee has assured that it will work assiduously to bring about the necessary reforms to transform Ghana's economy. This comes after President Mahama announced a 7-member committee chaired by Dr. Ishmael Yamsing to develop a comprehensive plan for the National Economic Dialogue in line with his 120-day social contract pledge to Ghanaians.
We will discharge our duty as professionally as possible. We will discharge our duties with the kind of humility that is needed. And we will discharge our duty bearing in mind that it's a privilege to serve in this committee.
As more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, we remain your election command center still keeping tabs on matters the aftermath of election 2024. The National Democratic Congress NDC parliamentary candidate for the Tema Central constituency in the 2024 elections, Abi Bright, heads to court seeking to reverse the election of Charles Forson as Member of Parliament for the Tema Central constituency. We've got details for you because this is a matter that is taking twists and turns in court, and indeed after the declaration of Abi Bright as parliamentary candidate, that's a Member of Parliament elect on December 9, 2024. Eventually, the Electoral Commission, if you recall, indicated that they do not recognize that particular declaration of Abi Bright as MP-elect because it did not follow due process. And so it was fraught with some illegalities that the Electoral Commission says invalidates that particular declaration of Abi Bright as MP-elect. Then this matter traveled, went to the courts. And in fact, there was a redeclaration of Charles Forson as MP-elect even before it was challenged. In fact, if you recall, when that mandamus application was sent by the NPP, challenged at the Supreme Court that particular outcome, and then the Supreme Court's decision to have this NDC as well head in this mandamus application by the New Patriotic Party. Eventually, there was an order for a recollation that was done, and we have Charles Forson being declared as MP-elect. Well, guess what? This matter is not ended as yet because we're learning right now that Abi Bright, the NDC parliamentary candidate for the Tema Central constituency in the 2024 elections, has just taken another legal action. And my colleague, Dennis Paberi Wadam Esquire, is joining me right now. Dennis, what do we know about this?
Well, it doesn't look like Abi Bright is giving up on this seat anytime soon because we are just learning of an election petition in respect of the Tema Central seat, and that is challenging the validity of the election that put Charles Forson in Parliament as the Tema Central MP. And in that respect, she's basically seeking the relief to the effect that she wants that the court declares that she, Abi Bright, is the validly elected MP for the Tema Central constituency.
I see.
That for her is not in doubt, and that a declaration that the EC has no legal right to overturn the results of the Tema Central parliamentary elections. You recall that there was a declaration of some sort. Yeah. But the EC's contention is that that declaration was done under duress and that it did not follow due process. The reason they had to do a collation or recollation, depending on where you stand and how you see it, and then they eventually declared Charles Forson, who is now the MP for Tema Central, as the validly elected Member of Parliament. That Abi Bright says that no, the Electoral Commission has no legal right to do so in respect of our legal laws, our electoral laws. She also is seeking a relief to the effect that a declaration be made that the election of some 3 polling stations was not conducted in compliance with the electoral laws of Ghana. If you recall, in the midst of all the controversy, what stood out was the fact that 3 polling station results were in dispute as to whether they ought to have been added or not. Yeah. Now, the contention here and the relief that Abi Bright, the petitioner in this election petition, is saying that the court makes a declaration that the manner in which the results of these 3 polling stations were handled was not in compliance with the electoral laws of Ghana, for which reason she does not think that Charles Forson is a validly elected member of parliament for Tema Central. She also seeking a declaration that Charles Forson is not the MP declared for Tema Central. Yes, we've seen this. And that an order directed at Charles Forson and the EC to endorse the petitioner's name, the petitioner here refers to Abby Bright, on the writ of elections. It is based on this writ of elections, which is sent to the clerk of parliament, that you get to be sworn in parliament. So what was sent to parliament had the name of Charles Forson, and that's the basis on which Charles Forson is now the member of parliament for Tema Central.
Yes.
But she is seeking an order that, an order directed at Charles Forson and the EC that her name should be entered into that writ of election instead of the name that was sent to parliament. Also, she also wants an order directed at Charles Forson and the EC to gazette and inform the clerk of parliament that Abby Bright is the validly elected MP for Tema Central. Mind you, after the election, the results have to be gazetted. So the results that we have now have Charles Forson's name there.
Yes.
Her relief she's seeking from the court is that, no, my name should be in that gazette. And that is what she's seeking. And it goes on. She also seeking an order to set aside the election results of the Tema Central, which declared Charles Forson MP for non-compliance. In this instance, she wants the entire results, which declared Charles Forson the MP, set aside, so that she will be declared the winner for that particular constituency. There's also a relief seeking an order to set aside the results of the 3 polling stations. And now, pay attention to this. This is in the alternative. Give me this or that.
Right.
That the results of the 3 polling stations in contention be set aside for non-compliance. Or, in the alternative, an order directed at the EC and the Tema Metro EC officer to rerun the 3 polling station, the election in the 3 polling stations.
You should rerun the elections.
Yes. That's okay, take out the results of the 3 polling stations, let's rerun the elections in these 3 polling stations, and then we do the collation, and I'll be satisfied. So it is the petitioner in this case is asking for one of 2 things. Give me this or give me that. So Alfred, basically, these are some of the reliefs, the key ones that Abby Bright is seeking from the High Court in respect of this election petition. Now, mind you, this is a full-blown election petition, unlike the other matters that had to do with the question of whether the matters were ripe to be presented to the court as in the form of election petition or not, as we saw in the issues of the mandamus application and the attempts to injunct the whole process. This is a full-blown election petition, a parliamentary one at that, and it will be conducted in the High Court, Alfred.
And so, and let's put emphasis on this last point, the last relief that Abby Bright is seeking, an order to set aside the results of the 3 polling stations. And these 3 polling stations, it's instructive because that's what makes all the difference, is it not?
Yes.
So she wants that set aside for non-compliance.
Yes.
Or these 3 polling stations elections should be rerun for fresh outcome.
Exactly.
But then again, it begs the question.
I mean, you recall that when the Don Kobinya issue came up, after all attempts to reconcile the numbers, the EC came to a point that they were willing to rerun the election in some polling stations.
True.
So it's something that is doable. So she is saying that if you are unable to set aside the results in these 3 polling stations, let us have a rerun in these 3 polling stations. And she is convinced that when that is done, it will give a true picture of the outcome of the election. But as it stands now, she does not think that Charles Forson is the person who has been validly elected by the people of Tema Central to represent them in Parliament.
And then stay with me, because this particular constituency's results, amongst others, has traveled a very interesting path. If you recall, the Accra High Court declared, in fact, it directed the Electoral Commission to collate the Tema Central results again, and this was just some 3 days before the swearing-in of this 9th Parliament. The Electoral Commission had indicated that they were going to do that, or they will be able to, which they did. We were here on the Saturday, the January 5th, if you recall, when this redeclaration, so-called, was done, with Charles Forson now being declared as winner with some 18,870 of the valid vote cast, as against Abby Bright, who polled 18,815, a difference of 55 votes. And this is where we look at how the three polling stations that Abby Bright is pointing at, that look, those should be a place to watch. It's one that you can understand why, because of the vote difference, 55 between them. Now, Nick Papo Samoa Ado is a private legal practitioner. He is counsel to Ebby Bright in this case. He's joining us on the telephone right now. Counsel, good evening. Thank you very much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. Hello? Nick Papo Samoa Ado, good evening. Hello, Ni Papo Samoa.
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me now? Great.
I can hear you.
Perfect. Now, it appears that even after this court order and the collation and declaration of Charles Forson, who is now in this 9th parliament, this is not the end of the fight for you. You're taking it up again, Ni Papo.
So, it is a very straightforward issue. You will recall that, and I think this probably would be a very straightforward issue with respect to the matters that we put before the court. There were 4 police stations that had issues, generally. 4. And if you recall, all the debates had to do with the collation of those 4 police stations. In fact, if you narrow it down, it's actually 3 police stations that were at stake. Now, the FEC's polling agents raised a fundamental issue with respect to the issues arising out of the 3 polling stations. Namely that with 3 of them, the names and signatures of the presiding officers were on the original pin sheet, but then the duplicates that were given to the NDC agents did not have the names and signatures of the presiding officers. And then also there were issues of the tallying of the total valid votes as against the total vote in the ballot box. So when it comes to those 3 polling stations, the issues that were raised by the NDC polling agents should have been addressed. Because you see, if you have an election that was decided by 55 votes, and there was issues to do with 3 of the polling stations, and you don't allow the agents of the party that is agreed to have their issues resolved so that there is no controversy about the election, this is what happens. And when there was even an order for a recount or recollation for that matter, the manner in which the recollation should have happened did not happen. And so at the end of the day, once the issues, and remember, one of the cardinal principles of dealing with election petitions is whether the allegation you make materially can change the outcome of the election. And when you have a situation where the race was not won by 5,000 or 10,000 or 15,000 votes, so that you say that, well, the person who is the petitioner is simply making a lot of noise. But you are talking about 55 votes. Then clearly, the person cannot sit down or the contestant cannot sit down when the issue boils down to 3 polling stations whose results can easily overturn the outcome of the election.
I see, but
so either you exclude those polling stations or you run those polling stations again, or you investigate the allegations and find out whether the allegations as they are capable of overturning the results as declared. And I have no doubt that if the grievances of Madam Ebby Bright, Honorable Ebby Bright, are looked at, we should be able to resolve this matter in a very, quick, because it's only 3 police stations. And I'm praying that the court will look at it and help us resolve this matter. Because obviously, the people of Tema North have the right
Central, yes, but
Tema Central have a right to have their elections, determined appropriately, so that all this noise and indecision will come to an end.
Well, but there are a number of things that you put out, which I want to interrogate. You say that the manner in which the recollation, so-called, should have happened did not happen. Exactly what do you mean by that?
You remember on live TV, the representative of Madame Ebby Bright went to the collation center, that is Honorable Roxy Dafema, went to the police station, and he was challenging the returning officer as to the manner in which he sought to do the recollation. was there to start from the beginning and recollect the entire results, or they were supposed to start from a particular point. So even the order that was given by the court and how it was implemented was a problem. Because at the
Hello? Unfortunately, I lost Nipapo Samado there. But he makes reference to a particular incident involving Nelson Roxon Dapiamekwa, who is the representative, or who was the representative of Ebi Bright, and that Electoral Commission Coalition Center, that was the Greater Accra office of the Electoral Commission, and when Nelson Roxon Dapiamekwa challenged the process. Now, we have that video. Take a look at this. We're going to put that video on the screen right now. What we put there a few minutes ago, this is what happened earlier. That was just about a little over 3 weeks ago, about almost a month ago. This is what happened at the Coalition Center.
The returning officer do his job. Let the returning officer do his job.
But the returning officer reports to somebody.
So is the person handling the process or the
returning officer?
I am the officer for Tema. You may be the officer. We may be the officer, but you are not the returning officer. I am not. If you want us to do this, I am not the returning. I'm not saying I'm the returning officer. Yourself. And let the law officer take charge. You also have to comport yourself. You are bringing the same attitude. What attitude? The same attitude. The same thing you are also understand. This is the returning officer. Your complaint is that he didn't handle the process. Today is not what I see. He did not declare. Handle the process. So he will handle the process. Today is about declaration. Yes. Coalition and declaration. So you do the coalition. Yes.
Well, so that's the video. Nick Paposa Amado is back on the telephone. What you reference is just we just put on the screen right now. So that the challenge of the process of the recollation is a point of reference for you.
Exactly. And you see that our challenge is based on two regulations.
Okay.
You understand? The manner in which the results, that's the pay sheet, is recorded. There's a specific requirement as to the returning officer, the specific returning officer, and the issue of he recording it and he signing it. And so you cannot have a situation where the person who the one party has signed results as against the other party that doesn't have signed results. And when they complain, you don't investigate in a close election for that matter. And then where there are differences between the recorded votes cast and the recorded votes that are in the ballot box. It's three polling stations and those polling. Remember, the principle again I repeat is that where the irregularity has the ability to change or affect the results declared, there must be an investigation. And so it is for me a very straightforward matter.
Well,
the allegations that were made by the Honorable Ebi Bright, are they allegations that one actually happened? Two, are they capable of being investigated? Three, are they capable of overturning the results? So if even one of those polling stations, you admit, only even one of those polling stations has the capacity to overturn the election.
Well, so
she cannot sit down. She cannot sit down without ensuring that the integrity of the elections are held. If at the end of the day, the court investigates the allegation and comes to the conclusion that look, let's have a rerun of those of those
three polling stations. Yes.
Or let's go back and look at the allegations as against the ballot accounting that was done. And there are irregularities that materially affect the outcome of the election. I think the democratic thing to do is to rerun those three polling stations, and then everybody knows, as they say, your focus level. They remember, at the essence of this is the fact that it is what the voter has voted for that must be upheld in the democracy.
Okay.
Not a manipulation of the electoral results. That cannot be accepted.
But the allegations are bothering on these three polling stations results and how all of that was handled. Did the counsel for Ebi Bright raise it during that court hearing at the Accra High Court, which eventually ordered?
Remember that all along the issues have been about procedure. So we didn't go into it.
It never went into the merit of the case?
No. We never went to the merit of the. So you see that post the fact that somebody has now been sworn in because of an alleged declaration, then the issues change. Because before then, the issues were about whether the procedures leading up to the what do you call it? To
the declaration of
the results. The declaration of the results had been respected, and also whether the first declaration that was made, which had declared the Honorable Eddie Bright as the winner, was going to be upheld.
True.
To whatever machinations by the EC, somebody else was declared as what? As the winner of the election. So then the only procedure available to the Honorable Eddie Bright to challenge the result is to come by a petition, so that we can now put everything in one basket and deal with this once and for all.
Right. We'll see how this case will travel, the path in which we'll certainly be updating our viewers on it. But thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate you. Nick Papo Samuado is a lawyer for Ebi Bright, the Tema Central NDC parliamentary candidate in the just ended 2024 parliamentary elections in that constituency, seeking a number of reliefs, including the last point, Dennis, which is really of emphasis for, if you listen to Nick Papo Samuado, that's one area that they are hitting so hard, that they want the courts to either set aside the polling station results of those 3 polling stations, or order a rerun, because it would have a material impact on the outcome of the results. See that Charles Forsing was declared winner with 18,870 of the votes, as against Ebi Bright, 18,815. That's 55 votes difference.
Yes, so when you put the 3 constituencies in the context, 3 polling stations in the context, you realize why they are making the point that let's rerun these 3 polling stations and let's see what the outcome of the election will be. But Alfred, it is not only Tema Central that is in this. There are other pending election petitions in some of the constituencies that we're monitoring closely.
Talk to us.
We know at least 3 of them in the Ashanti region are in court already, but same matters. They are contesting that the people who are representing these constituencies in parliament are not the validly elected persons, and they are in court with election petitions properly instituted, and they are at it. So we are looking at Obuasi East constituency, we are looking at Afuano North constituency, and Afuano Southwest constituency in the Ashanti region. All these are election petitions pending before the law court in the Ashanti region. We also have Akwitia. We know, in respect of Akwitia, that the NDC had secured an injunction against the MP for that area, Ernest Kumi. In fact, that was brought to the attention of Parliament even on the day the MPs were being sworn in. But they left it for the MP himself to decide and to bear the consequence of whatever that will be.
That's right.
So that matter is still in court. There's also Fantiakwa North, also in the eastern region. There's Pandai constituency, which is also an election petition ongoing. And there's also Trubok constituency in the Greater Accra region. So we know for a fact that all these constituencies have election petitions pending before the law courts. It's also important to mention, Alfred, that Ablekuma North is still not represented in Parliament for obvious reasons. We do not know when the EC will be able to do the collation again to declare a winner for Ablekuma North constituency. As it stands now, they have no representation in Parliament.
Well, and that was a matter that the NPP MP sought to put across on Friday, last Friday in Parliament, that they wanted the Electoral Commission to declare that Ablekuma North constituency results and who is the winner. But guess what? There are about 3 polling stations that the presiding officers there say they will not come. One says, look, I have done my job, I'm done. And the other also said the original pink sheets that he had did not have rejected ballots on it. But what was presented to him at the Recollection Center had rejected ballots. So there are outstanding issues in Ablekuma North that the Electoral Commission cannot go ahead to declare the results until those issues are addressed.
But they made an attempt to do. They made an attempt to collate for the very final time. But unfortunately, that did not happen because of security reasons. They are making the case that if enough security is provided for them, they'll be able to do the exercise. Because the last statement the Electoral Commission issued was to the effect that, yes, they had sent notices to the parties to come to the headquarters, that's the old headquarters of the EC, for that exercise to be done. Only for the police to inform them that from intelligence that they had gathered, they cannot. It was not going to be possible. And that's how come we saw the clashes in there and all that. But of course, that has been put on hold. We're just hoping that in the coming days, the EC will be able to declare, a winner for Ablekuma North, or at least give an indication on how to proceed with that particular matter.
It's a very, very important development in there. But stay with me. We're going to go into the next issue because it still borders on elections. but this time around, it's on the electoral body. The electoral management body is of the Electoral Commission. That's coming up next year on Ghana Tonight. The Electoral Commission Chair, Jane Adokoy-Mensah, her 2 deputies, and a member of the commission risk being removed from office following a petition to the president, John Dramani Mahama. And this is not going to be the first time Jane Mensah has been indeed cited in a petition. In fact, if you recall, just some 4 months ahead of election 2024, December 2024, sometime in August 2024, a SEPA petition then President Nana Akufo-Addo for the removal of Jane Adokoy-Mensah. That did not see the light of day. We are seeing another petition again, and we're going to get into it shortly as things are playing out right now. And because this petition would have to go through a process, and President Mahama has been petitioned to remove the Electoral Commission Chair, Jane Mensah. This petition, from the information that we got, was filed on January 27. We have a copy of it on January 27, that's today. Also, wants the Deputy EC Chairs, Samuel Tete, and Dr. Bosman Eric Asari, and the EC member, Dr. Peter Apiahene, to be removed from office as well. Now, the grounds for this petition include a breach of fundamental human rights under Article 42 of the 1992 Constitution. It also points to the constitutional breaches such as incompetence, bias, actions and inactions that undermine public confidence in the impartiality and integrity of the Electoral Commission, contrary to Article 23 and 296 of the 1992 Constitution. And what you see on the screen there are the officers who have been cited in this petition in question. And that's it. We have Jane Adokoy-Mensah, the EC Chair, Dr. Eric Bosman Asari, Deputy Chairperson, Samuel Tete, the Deputy Chairperson as well. And then also we have Dr. Peter Apiahene, is a member of the Electoral Commission. So these are the 4 persons who have been cited in this petition that has been sent to President John Mahama to have the EC Chair and 2 deputies sacked. Well, these are the allegations, as I indicated. The breach of the human rights, they make specific reference to the SAL situation, to the extent that, according to the petitioner, the Electoral Commission's actions led to the people of the Santro Kofi, Akpafo, Lulubi, and Likpe people not having representation in the 8th Parliament. And as a result, that is a breach of the fundamental human rights of the people of SAL. They also talk about abuse of discretionary power and the same reference to the happenings in SAL. And to that extent, they say that the Electoral Commission exercised their discretionary powers to the disadvantage of the people of SAL. And bear in mind, the people of SAL are now represented in this 9th Parliament with the Guan constituency. Feda Gonyo was the first member of Parliament for the Guan constituency there. But then again, they also make reference to bias as well on the part of these persons and their conduct as well in there. So these are the issues, some of the issues captured in this petition, the allegations against these persons that the petitioner is asking President John Mahama to sack. But we'll see how this plays out. This petition has to go through a legal path. And that's why we have lawyer Christian Mamhesi joining us. He's a private legal practitioner to help us understand this. Counsel, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. Now, we've seen a copy of this petition against these persons, asking President John Mahama to sack the EC Chair, her deputies, 2 deputies, and a member of the Electoral Commission. What path will this petition take from today onwards?
Yeah, thanks for having me. And it is indeed a constitutional procedure. And once this has been invoked, it will take that position alike. The most important thing that we'll look at is Article 43.3, Article 126.1, Article 127. Now, to remove the chairperson of the EC, it is one that has not been clearly provided under the Constitution. But then again, it doesn't mean that the chairperson can never be removed. In fact, it has been an academic exercise by most constitutional writers in that particular area. When you look at Article 43.3, it deals with the fact that, or it provides that the commissioner, that's the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, shall have the same terms and conditions of service as the justice of the Court of Appeal. So it ranks the chairperson to the Court of Appeal. So it is what we call pari materia to it. And by that, the removal, albeit, can be likened to it. And that's what we call mutatis mutandis. So that even though that is not clearly provided for, and by virtue of this likening to it, then that invocation of that Latin principle, which is mutatis mutandis, can be prescribed to that. Now, if you also look at Article 1261,
Hello? Hello? Christian Mam has said that it's a private legal practitioner. We lost him briefly. We'll try to raise him back on the telephone again. He's giving us very important detail on the path that this petition will take. If you recall, just some few weeks ago, the former president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, was also petitioned to remove the Chief Justice, and that petition was thrown out. And it appears that, Lawyer Hesemam, thank you for joining us once again. So is that to say that the path that the petition against the Chief Justice took is almost the same that this petition against the EC chair will take? Hello? Unfortunately, we lost Lawyer Christian Mam.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly now. I can hear you clearly.
Yes. So basically, what I'm saying is that, yes, indeed, it will take that same position.
Right.
And the president would have to refer it to the CJ for a committee to look into the matter. And the committee must come out with what we call a prima facie case. And that comes under Article 146. And the president asked some legal scholars or constitutional writers to say it's merely a conveyor belt. And the question is whether or not, when the committee acts of right by the attempt of constitutional reference concludes that indeed there has been misconduct and incompetence, and recommend for the removal of the EC, will the president comply? Now, so these areas are partly academic, but at the end of the day, it is still procedural. It is still constitutional procedure that the committee would face themselves through, and also furnish the president with prima facie investigations as they so find. And indeed, the paroding legal inquest is whether or not indeed the the EC chair prima facie has misconducted herself and is incompetent to occupy that particular office.
I see. Now, you make the point about the CJ also setting up a committee. Which persons would make up this committee? Or is there a procedure in selecting the persons to make up this committee that will determine a prima facie case against these people?
Yeah, I mean, the Constitution provides for that, and the committee members, basically as provided by the Constitution, would be a representation as provided by it to deal with the matter. And as I mentioned, their responsibility would basically be to establish whether a prima facie case has been made. And if it is the allegations made are merely electoral disputes, then they will not stand the test of time, because electoral disputes are resolved at the electoral court. As we have seen proactively, the CJ is trying to open have certain judges to hear these matters expeditiously, as we have all witnessed as that. So if they are merely embedded with matters that could be resolved judicially and does not affect or indict the electoral commissioner as it is in terms of competence, or it does not alter misconduct, then they'll be thrown out as merely assertions and not having any basis in law. And for that matter, the constitutional legal term of act has not been satisfied.
I thank you very much, Christian Mam-Hesse, for your initial thoughts and analysis on this matter. He's a private legal practitioner. Thank you very much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. As I indicated to you, this is not the first time that Gina Dokwe-Mensah, the AC chair, has been petitioned, or the president has been petitioned to remove him. The former president, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, in August 2020, was petitioned to remove Jane Mensah because she had not declared her assets. Well, that petition did not see the light of day because, in fact, it was dismissed. The ASEPA petitioned the former president on that. Well, it was dismissed on the back of the point that even though she hadn't declared her assets as of the time, she had taken remedial measures to do so. In 2022, Fix the Country movement also petitioned the former president, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to remove Jane Mensah on this same SAL matter. Right? But then again, that also did not see the light of day. So we'll see how this will play out in the coming days on this one as well. But this is Ghana Tonight. We're back shortly after this quick break. Stay with us. We're getting to a conversation on BRICS. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
We have recorded tremendous success in ensuring that the vision of our founding fathers does indeed become a reality.
We welcome you to the next Africa Prosperity Dialogues and the Africa Prosperity Champions Awards, which take place in Accra, Ghana from the 30th of January to the 1st of February 2025.
I will work to foster the partnerships that transcends our borders, and I'll work collectively with you towards regional stability, economic growth, and mutual respect.
We see our role in enabling Africans to have a better future.
We indeed have what it takes. There is no dream which is too big or impossible.
On occasions like these, we give ourselves an excellent opportunity to showcase the difference we can make.
To register, visit africaprosperitynetwork.com. Africa Prosperity Dialogues 2025, delivering Africa's single markets through infrastructure. Invest, connect, integrate.
Step up with DSTV and we'll show up by giving you more incredible entertainment.
Going to have a little fun.
Upgrade your subscription between the 13th of January and the 31st of March and get an even higher package for a whole month on us.
Buckle up, here we go.
There's nothing better than putting a little bit in but getting a lot out.
Time to boost some office morale.
Incredible!
When you want to build a future, you gotta know what you want.
Step up and we'll show up on your home of entertainment, DSTV.
Through every step of life's unpredictable journey, every moment counts. That's why you need a partner you can always trust for solutions, so you can be rest assured. Having impacted over 200,000 lives, processed over 4.2 million claims, partnered with over 400 corporations, paid out over 836 million Ghana cedis in claims, contracted over 1,600 healthcare facilities nationwide, and pioneered several innovations like free medicine delivery, an interactive mobile app, and more. You'll be surprised what can be accomplished in 20 years. We're part of the Nationwide family. Are you? Nationwide Medical Insurance. 20 years of leading the way.
Looking for a seamless shopping experience? Welcome to Franco, where everything you need is just a click away. Shop the hottest deals and unlock amazing discounts on our products such as mobile phones, refrigerators, washing machines, Franco air conditioners from 1.5 horsepower to 2.5 horsepower, Franco television from 32 inches to 100 inches, CCTV cameras, laptops, and many more. Download our easy-to-use mobile app. Visit our website at www.francotrading.com. Call the numbers on the screen for any assistance and enquiries. Franco, home of quality mobile phones, accessories, and your home appliances.
Go to interview Zoom right here in my house. Hey!
Look up there. Why are you using inferior pen?
It was a mistake. I no check.
Acrobat, I'm going to knock you out.
I know, sir.
You deserve quality.
Don't make mistakes. Stop.
You did the right thing.
When you are going to buy a paint, don't look left, don't look right. Go straight and grab the luxury acrylic paint. No be any paint, be paint.
The luxury acrylic paint.
Paint me champion.
We have recorded tremendous success in ensuring that the vision of our founding fathers does indeed become a reality.
We welcome you to the next Africa Prosperity Dialogues and the Africa Prosperity Champions Awards, which take place in Accra, Ghana from the 30th of January to the 1st of February 2025.
I will work to foster the partnerships that transcends our borders, and I'll work collectively with you towards regional stability, economic growth, and mutual respect.
We see our role in enabling Africans to have a better future.
We indeed have what it takes. There is no dream which is too big or impossible.
On occasions like these, we give ourselves an excellent opportunity to showcase the difference we can make.
To register, visit africaprosperitynetwork.com. Africa Prosperity Dialogues 2025, delivering Africa's single markets through infrastructure. Invest, connect, integrate.
Welcome back. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, as Ghana gears for a national economic dialogue, there are already questions as to where Ghana will likely stand in global economies and geopolitics, as there seem to be some considerations for Ghana to join BRICS. We have a conversation, and just for the uninitiated, we'll tell you exactly what BRICS is and why this is extremely important. And our President John Dramani Mahama gave an indication of the establishment of this 7-member National Economic Dialogue Planning Committee chaired by Dr. Ishmael Yamson, celebrated economist. The members, we do know Dr. K.Y. Amakon, Professor John Gachi, Mohammed Samara, Nelly Miriku, also Anthony Sapong, and then Ernest Digrat Jerry. Now, this National Executive Dialogue, National Economic Dialogue, that's NED, will offer a platform for dialogue and consultation on the country's pressing development challenges. We'll connect to Professor John Gachi in a bit. He's a member of this 7-member committee. But it will also discuss policy trade-offs and build consensus on reforms needed to transform Ghana into high-growth, inclusive and resilient economy. And this is why we're bringing the conversation about the decision by Nigeria to join BRICS. Nigeria, indeed, has now been identified as a BRICS country partner. And what does this mean? And why did they do this? We'll tell you about it. They want the pivotal promotion of their trade and investment, and they see an advantage in there. They're also looking at food security partnership with the BRICS countries, and we'll take that shortly. And also infrastructure development, energy security to enable Nigeria forge deeper strategic relationships with BRICS members beyond traditional partnerships as well. Now, what are we talking about when we talk about BRICS? These are the countries that comprise this BRICS. That's the acronym BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and recently, in fact, just about 2 years ago, South Africa was admitted in there. And this informal grouping of emerging economies hoping to increase their sway in the global order. And in fact, this they have done in carrying out a number of initiatives. Establishment of a development bank sometime in 2013. That was envisioned as an alternative to the World Bank, and you hear a number of people raise concerns about the Bretton Woods institutions and their involvement in African development, and as to whether that's going to be to our good. Well, guess what? BRICS is giving an offer, and these are the member countries, the first 5, and then others who joined along the way and counting. Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, UAE, all joining in, and many others. Now we're identifying Nigeria as a partner country as well. But let's hear from John Dramani Mahama, the President of the Republic of Ghana, during his inauguration speech. He gave an indication of what Ghana is thinking about when it comes to this BRICS matter. Take a look.
A seismic shift happening within the system of global economic dominance. Whereas the G7 nations, United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, and Japan once provided the highest percentage of the world's GDP, over the last decade, that number has been steadily dropping. However, the combined total of the GDP of the BRIC nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, UAE, their GDP has been consistently increasing. In 2023, for instance, the G7's combined total of world GDP was 30%. But by 2029, that number is predicted to drop to 27%. In 2023, the BRICS percentage of world GDP was 37.3%. And so what does this mean to us in Ghana? What could it mean to our economy? Where do we fit in this geopolitical maelstrom? Technology such as artificial intelligence has taken us to new heights.
President John Mahama was right when he talks about the statistics in terms of the BRICS countries, the Brazil, Russia, and we're talking about India, China, South Africa. GDP as of 2024, 37%. So what does this mean for Ghana? Professor John Gachi is a member of this 7-member committee, National Economic Dialogue Committee, is the Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business Schools, joining us on phone. Professor Gachi, good evening. Thank you very much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. Now, we're hearing the decision by Nigeria now to join the BRICS as a country partner. What does this mean for Ghana as you, together with the president, deliberate on the economic future ahead of us? Hello, Prof. Hello, Prof. Gachi, can you hear me? We'll try to raise him back on the telephone for a brief conversation on this. But as I indicated to you, this is the data from the World Economic Forum. Now, the World Economic Forum clearly buttresses the point. In fact, it's just giving confirmation to the statistics that President John Mahama put out during his inauguration. We're talking about 37% GDP for the BRICS countries. And Professor Gachi, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. I was saying that with a decision by Nigeria to join BRICS as a country partner country, what does this mean for Ghana?
Well, I think Ghana and Nigeria share almost the same economic and cultural similarities. So if Nigeria joins or forms alliance with the BRICS countries, is doing that to intensify its trade relations with those countries in order to ensure economic development for its people and enhance the well-being for their economy. And that is the same reason for which Ghana, if Ghana decides to share such a relation with them, to derive for the people of Ghana.
Well, but you listen to the president, and in that inauguration speech, he asked a question. What does this mean for Ghana in terms of the decision to join BRICS? Because clearly, the economic data doesn't lie. They are making significant inroads in the global economy. But then again, we have so much involvement with the US and Europe, and our reliance on the IMF. We're in a program now. The World Bank has a lot of investment and support for Ghana. And BRICS was established essentially as an alternative to these Bretton Woods institutions and also the G7. So what risk does Ghana face in deciding to, for instance, do business and go into BRICS as a country partner, whilst we still have the US, World Bank, and G7 breathing on our necks?
Well, should Ghana decide to share deeper relations with BRICS countries, it's not doing that because we want to delink itself from the global relations that it has with the West and other countries. Rather, the idea is that Ghana wants to expand its tentacles to countries that are prosperous and that will give meaning to its development goals for its citizens. So that's the reason why Ghana would do that, but not to cut ties with the West and now join with the BRICS. So, for example, Nigeria does not do that. Nigeria is only sharing in the prospects that the relationship provides for its citizens, and is still direct link with the West and the rest in so doing. So the same way that Ghana will share the benefit from the West and the benefit that comes from the BRIC countries.
But is this going to be a subject of consideration for you, the National Economic Dialogue Committee, in planning the conversations during the national dialogue?
I cannot answer that question now. I think unless we meet, the name just came out yesterday. So I don't think that I should be answering that question now.
Well, but I think that's a fair point. But is it one that maybe you think, from where you sit, not as a member of the committee, but as an individual, that is a conversation we should be looking into, especially because of what the president himself said during his inaugural speech? Hello, Prof. Unfortunately, we lost Professor John Gachi there, but this is one that, in fact, has generated a lot of conversation, especially because of the decision by Nigeria, and obviously because of our trade relations with Nigeria And with these countries as well, as we're looking at it already, the president has given a strong indication that this is a conversation that has to be had, and we'll see how the coming days will look like on this matter. But I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Ghana Tonight. Join us same time tomorrow for another conversation. My name is Alfred Okonse. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior. This program is rated PG. It contains scenes of brief nudity, mild violence, and strong language. Parental guidance is advised.
Such issues, no time to stress on. Ladies circle, yeah.